So hello guys and welcome back to our YouTube channel. So till now we have learned variable, loops, function, list, dictionaries and many other Python concepts. But today we are going to start one of the most important topic, and it used in almost every programming language, which is OOPS, object oriented programming. Okay, so whenever you build large applications like Instagram, WhatsApp, Amazon, games, banking apps, oops are used in it. Okay, so in today class we will learn about this topic. Okay, so let's start. So these are the topics that we will gonna cover today: that oop, what is oop, then class, then object, then a constructor, then self keyword, methods, inheritance, method overriding, data hiding and abstraction. Okay, so let's start with the first topic, which is oops. So first of all, what is OOP? So OOP stand for object oriented programming. So in OOP we create program using objects. Okay, now look around you. The laptop is a object, a mobile phone is a object, a charger is a object. Okay, all of these things are object. Okay, so object has two things: a property, data, or a behavior like actions of it. Okay, so property, let's take example of car. So properties of it are color, brand, model, and behavior is start, stop, break. Okay, similarly, let's take a student. So student have name, age, roll number, marks, and what is come in behavior? His study, write exam, attending class. Okay, so this is how exactly OOP works. Okay, so basically what does OOP do? OOP basically take a object and the properties of the object and make them in a single frame. Then what is class? So here it is. Our real life example is student, car, mobile. These are objects. So instead of writing separate variable again and again, we create a class and then make a multiple object. Okay, this is the use of OOPS. Then we have a class. So class is a blueprint of create a table, create a object. Okay, so what we can say now, suppose a school has a 5,000 students. Will we write variables again and again? No, instead we create one template or a blueprint. The blueprint is called a class. Okay, so a class is simply a blueprint. Think about building a house. Okay, now, so before building the house, engineer first create a blueprint. The blueprint is not the house, it's just a design. Similarly, class is a blueprint. Okay, not a real thing, not an object. So planning of a house is a class, but actual house is a object. That's the difference between class and object. Now this is the syntax of this, that class, then the name of the class. Okay, and then we just use pass here because we don't have anything here. Then we have an object. So what is object? So object is a real student, we can say. An object is a instance of a class. Okay, we can create many objects in the class. So let's let me tell you some objects like S1. This student is a object. Student 2 is a object. Okay, like we created a class, then we assign student in it, and these are called the objects. Okay, now constructor. So what is constructor? This is a constructor, underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Okay, this is our constructor. So constructor, let me tell you constructor. A constructor is a special method. It run automatically whenever an object is created. Okay, so let's take a example of a real life example. So what happens when a baby is born? Immediately after the birth, the baby get name, it gets have some weight and height and many details. Okay, similarly, when an object is created, we want to initialize its data automatically. from that we use a constructor. Okay, that's why we use. So the constructor is underscore underscore init underscore underscore. And how we use it? We use it like that. We have firstly created a class, a blueprint, then we use our constructor define init underscore underscore init underscore underscore, and then a self over there. Let me tell you the self keyword also, so I'll tell you later. Wait. And then the print object is created, and then the object. Okay, now constructor with a parameter. So there are some parameters of constructor that are with name and age. Let me tell you the self first. So self is the most confusing topic for beginners, guys, so don't worry about that. So let's see, we have, wait, let me do it here. Let's take a object, a Rahul. So Rahul is the object, so name will be Rahul. Okay, and let's take his age equals to 20, and let's make another one, Aman object. Okay, now name will be Aman, and let's take his age is 90. Okay, now look, they both object have their own name. Okay, so Python needs to know whose name we are talking about. So how will he get that? Okay, that's why we use a self. Okay, self simply means current object. Okay, like you don't need to say that we are talking about Aman, so we just use Aman, we just use self. So self means we are talking about the current object. Okay, let's give another example. When I say my phone, so who owns it? Me. Similarly, self means my own variable. This is what self means. Okay, now here is constructor with some parameter, like we have self, because we want that we are talking about this particular object. Okay, that's why we have self, then name, then age. So self dot name equals to name, means we are talking about the current name, which is a name, and we are talking about the current age, which is age. Okay, and then we take the example of Rahul of age 20, and then we just call it. So how we call basically? So we call by simply s1 dot name and s1 dot age, like the name of the object, and then the what we can say, parameter we want. Okay, here's the self keyword. Self refers to the current object. It helps Python to know which object data it's been accessed. Okay, so like self dot name and self dot name equals to Rahul, so s1 student equals to Rahul, so it know that we are talking about this name, okay, which is Rahul. Now we have methods. So methods are simply function created inside a class. Okay, so what can a student do? He can write exam, he can attend class, he can let's say what, he can absent in the class. So okay, so these are all methods. Okay, let's take example of a car. What a car can do? Car can start, car can stop, car can accelerate. Okay, so these are also methods of car. Okay, now here is a method of student. So what a student can have? Student can have a name. Okay, so we use define init self and name, and then we use name as a method over here. Okay, and then we use s1 dot display. So this function belong to the student. It help to show the name of the student. Okay, there is a function of this, as you can see. Okay, so now we have s1 dot student. Wait a second, guys. I guess this is much better now. Yeah. So now we have an important topic also. Okay, wait. Another math example. There's one more example of car, as I told you. So car can have a brand. Okay, So firstly we have take the self comma brand as a object, then we assign it self brand equals to brand, and then define start self. So this we have assigned a new function over in our class. Okay, so this is our method. So now our another topic is inheritance. So inheritance allow one class to use the property and method of the another class. Basically we have two class over there, one is parent class and another one is child class. So basically what we can use all the properties of parent class in our child class. Okay, this is what inheritance help us. So let's take example. Is a dog an animal? Yes. So dog should automatically get animal property. Okay, this is inheritance. So child class basically use parent class feature, like dog use all the feature of animal class. Okay, so we never wrote sound inside dog, still dog can use it, but why we don't use? Because dog inherited animals. Okay, uh, yeah, let's me tell you here. Look, we have created a parent class of name animal, and in the animal we have created another class called dog. Okay, because dog can inherit all the properties of the parent class, which is animal. Okay, and look, here is sound. Dog can access this sound also, because it can inherit all the properties of the animal class, and this defined sound is come under the animal class. Now let's move to another topic, method overriding. So what does an animal make? What sound does an animal make? So there are many animals and have all have different sound, like dog can bark, cat can meow, cow can moo. Okay, so child class sometimes need their own version. Okay, so this is called method overriding, when child class want his own version. So how we use it? Look, we have created a parent class of animal, then we define sound self, like like animals can make a sound, and then we print sound animal sound. Then we create a child class called dog. Dog can also create a sound, but which kind of sound they made a bark sound. So that's why we have created another function over here, which is called sound function, and then we print bark, because so dog must have its own spatial version. That's why we use another class over here. That's why we use another function over here. So this is called method overriding, when a child class need its own version. Okay, okay, I hope you get that. Now another topic is data hiding. So data hiding is okay, let me give you example first. Can animal access your ATM pin? No. Can anyone access your password? No, because some data should remain private. Okay, so in Python also, when we want to make some data which we want to be should be private. Okay, like we don't want to show it to everyone, then how we use it? So we basically we private the variables using double underscore, like we made a variable and then add double over there, so that it will become a private. Okay, now it won't show, now this will not be accessed directly. Okay, so how we use that? We basically add two underscore over here like this, so now it become a private. So this is called a data hiding, when we hide something private from the user, so they cannot directly access it. Okay, now our next topic is data abstraction. So what is data abstraction? So this is the only a concept today, no coding. Okay, so when you drive a car, do you know how the engine works? Obviously no. Okay, you simply use steering, brake, acceleration, and you just run the car. You have never seen the parts hidden in the car. Okay, like in the engine, what is there and what's going on. but you still manage to run a car, na? This is called data abstraction. When we hide the complexity and just provide the important things to run that. So this is called data abstraction, when we hide unnecessary implementation and show only the important feature. This is called data abstraction. Okay, like car, we using the steering, bike, accelerator, but we don't know how the engine works, how the fuel injector works, gear mechanism, we don't know how they works, but still we manage to access the, we manage to ride the car, drive the car. Okay, so Python provide abstraction using abstract class. This is the advanced topic, I will tell you later, guys. So this is just a theoretical part now. Okay, so let's do a quick revision and then we will move to our questions. Okay, so firstly OOP. So what is the full form of OOP? So OOP is our object oriented programming. Okay, so what does it help? It help to manage a class and objects so that we can access it easily. Okay, yeah, instead of writing separate variable again and again, we create a class and then multiple objects. Then what is class? A class is a blueprint or a template in which we can access our or create our objects. Okay, now the object. So object is a real instance of a class in which we put the real objects, like we make the real objects. The syntax is we have created a class and then the objects. Then we have a constructor. So what is constructor? So constructor is a special method. It runs automatically whenever an object is created. So what is that? It's underscore underscore init underscore underscore. Okay, so look, we have created a class, then we have a automatically created self in it. Okay, then there is a class with some parameters of name and age. Okay, so now self keyword. So self keyword refer to a current object. Okay, so in Python it help us to know which object we are talking about. So like self.name means we are talking about the current name. Then we have methods. So methods are the function which we use inside a class or which we make inside a class. Like here we have created display, so this function is a method. Now we have inheritance. So inheritance means when we created two class, and in these two class a child class can access all the properties of the parent class, or we can say a child class can access all the functions are used in a parent class. Okay, like here you can see here is a class animal which is the parent class, and in here there is a function called sound. But this class dog, which is a child class, it can also access this function. This is called inheritance. Then we have a method overriding. So method overriding means when a child class needs its own function. This is called method overriding, like its own is unique function. Like there is a parent class called animal and it have a sound. So obviously a dog can make a sound, but what kind of sound does it make? It make a bark sound. So that's why we have created another function which is a bark function. That what kind of sound does the dog makes? It's make a bark sound. Then we have data hiding. That hiding the data which is our private data, or we don't want to access them easily. So we basically wrote 2 underscore in front of the variable. Then we have data abstraction. So data abstraction means hiding the unnecessary data and showing just the important one. Okay, like we have car and we use basically steering, brake and accelerator, but we never have seen how the engine work, how the fuel injection works, how the gear mechanism works, but still we are managed to drive a car. So I hope you get that. Now let's move to our practice question so that you will get more. Wait, let me just comment them all so that we can do easily. So our first question is to make a student class. Okay, so let's make a class called student class. So we have created a class. Now what we have a automatically called init constructor init. Then okay, it just give self automatically. Then our objects. So a student can have a name, can have a age, it also can have a roll number also. Let's take a roll number. Now self dot name equals to name, that we are talking about the name over here. It's self dot age, that we are talking about age over here, which is equals to age. And self dot roll number, we are talking about the roll number over here. Okay, so this is how we create. Okay, now the functions. So define display, we want to show the data that we stored here. Self. Okay, so what do you want to show? Print name is, what is name? Self dot name. Print age is what? Self dot age. Self dot age. And print roll number, which is roll underscore number dot self dot roll number, basically. Wait, self dot roll number. Yeah. Okay, now we get the objects over here. So let's take objects. So s1 equals to student, the name and the age and the roll number. So let's take our ages. Name is Ajay, age is 19, and roll number is, let's take 46. Okay, now I just say s1 dot display, that display all the information of the student s1. So just look, name is Ajay, age is 19, and the roll number is 46. Now let's take some more, like s2 dot, s2 equals to student. So the student information are, let's take information of a student. Let's take a student name Abhi, his age is 21, and the roll number is 34. Let's say, now I'll just say that I want to show this. So s2 dot display, that display the data of this. So it will now display the board data. Wait, let me just comment this. Now look, name Abhi, age this, and roll number is this. So this is how our oops work. Okay, we don't want to use this, we just have to make a we just have to add a data of a student, and we just say that to display this. Okay, I hope you get that. Let's move to another question. So now is car class, so that we have to make a car class. So for that, let's create a class car, define underscore our constructor, which is important. Now some objects, like car can have a name, a brand, a color, and the self dot name equals to name, then self dot brand equals to brand, self dot color equals to color. Yeah, now we just define display, that what we want to display. We want to display all the things, so just use self. Wait, yeah, so print name is self dot name. Okay, print brand is self dot brand, and print color self dot color. Now just add a value. So let's take C1 car1, which is equals to car. So let's take a name that we have a BMW, let's say. So we will take M4. Let's take M4. Wait, yeah, M4. The brand is BMW, and color is black. Okay, let's take one more car, C2, car2, car. Name of another card, let's take R8, which is Audi R8, and Audi. Let's take a color black also. Okay, now I just say C1 dot display and C2 dot display, and it will display me the data. Look, name is M4, brand is BMW, color is black. Name is R8, brand is Audi, color is black. Okay, look, he also made like this. Let's comment this and move to our next practice question. So next one is dog inheritance. So what does dog inheritance means? So dog inheritance means we have to make a parent class and a what we can say, child class. So firstly a class, parent class, so animal, because dog come in a animal category. Now we have our define constructor, sound. Okay, because all animal basically made a sound. So what kind of sound? Self dot sound equals to sound. Yeah, now another one, define, not define, we have to create a class dog. This is what our inheritance means. Wait, we have an indentation error over here. Yeah, dog, and it came under animal class. So define bark self is small, should be okay, and we just say print dog is barking. Okay, now we just get a value. So let's take D equals to dog and C equals to cat. Let's take 2, and then we just like D dot eat and D dot bark, C dot eat. Okay, we don't have a class of cat, so wait, we can't use this. Yeah, so now look, in it the missing is, in it the sound is like, okay, wait, what happened? Okay, wait, print animal is eating, then only we can access, no? Object dog has no attribute eat. Object dog is self dot name. Bark is over there, guys, but we use constructor over here. Look, animal is eating and the dog is barking. Okay, so now let's move to another one. So here's our mini project. So what we have to do, we have to make a class of student having all the things, like where should a student can pass and where student can fail. So let's create a student class. Then we have our constructor over here, and then a student can have self, obviously. Firstly we have name and marks, then only we can say na if even if he'll pass or fail. Self dot name equals to name, self dot marks equals to marks, and let's define result. So result equals to result of self if self dot marks are less than or equals to 33, which is the criteria of failing. Okay, so print self dot name is pass, else print self dot name is fail. Yeah, okay, now let's take values. So let's take s1 equals to Rohan. He got a marks approx, let's take 92. Then s2 equals to Vansh. Let's take it copy. Yeah, 3, 4. Vansh got 76. Then we have Lakshita, and marks are 32. And let's take one more, Akshit, and let's say his marks are just 18. Okay, let's give him 33. Now if I ask him to show me the result, so I'll just say s1 dot result s2 dot result, s3 dot result, s4 dot result. Okay, so now when we run it, look, wait, yeah, so just look over here. Wait, what happened? Where am I wrong, guys? So he says Rohan is pass, Vansh is pass. So Rohan and Vansh are okay, but over here Lakshit got some mistake. So in line number 427, 417, in 427 in result, what happened? S3 dot result, yeah, it's, I guess, not supported between the instance. Okay guys, we have right 33. Yeah, look, Rohan is passed, Vansh is also passed, Lakshit is also passed, but Akshit got failed because he just got 18 marks. Okay, so that's our mini project. Now let's move some key points. So firstly, what is OOP? So OOP is our object oriented programming, class is a blueprint, object is an instance, constructor is underscore underscore init and then parenthesis, then self is a current object, method are the function inside the class, inheritance are like child class using all the features of parent class, like all the functions of the parent class. Then we have method overriding, that child changes the parent method. Then data hiding is private variable, which is underscore, using two underscore in front of the variable. Then data abstraction is hiding the complex data and showing the just important one. Okay, now we have some more homework questions, so let's do this so we will get more clear. First is create a book class with the author, lit title and the author. So let's create a class to call book. Okay, define our constructor, title and author. Okay, self dot title equals to title and self dot author equals to author. Now we will display this. So how we will use, we will make another function called display function. So display self. Now print author is, or title is, title is self dot title and print author is self dot author. And let's take values. So b1 equals to, let's take a value book, which is our Python, and basics, and let's take author is I am. So let's take me. Let's make another one, book 2, which is equals to book of mathematics, and RD Sharma let's take. Now I'll just say b1 dot display, that display the information of b1, and b2 dot display, that display the information of book number 2. Now wait, let me just okay, so now I'll just run it. 413, okay, wait, yeah. So now just look, title is Python basic and user author, I am the author, and then the Python of mathematics and user author RD Sharma. Okay, so the another one is create a employee class with a name and the salary. So let's do this. So class is employee, wait, class is employee, okay, and define underscore underscore init. So what we have as a name and the salary, so name and salary. So self dot name will be name and self dot salary will be salary. Okay, now define display. That print what we have to print, name is self dot name and salary is self dot salary. Okay, now let's take some objects of E1. Let's take employee name of Rahul. E1 equals to employee Rahul, and his salary is 40,000. Okay, and we have another one. Let's take Rakshit, and his salary is 70,000. and I just say that e1 dot display, that display all the information of e1, and e2 dot display to display all the information of e2. So look here. Now we have wait. Yeah, name him Rahul, that have a salary of 40,000, then have Rakshit of 70,000. Okay. So let's move to another question. Create a class person and inherit into a teacher. Okay. So let's do this. This one is good. Create a class, a person, then define, introduce. A person can introduce itself and teacher also. So we'll use introduce self. Then I am a person. A person can also be a teacher. So we will create another class, teacher, child class. Okay, which is a child class person, and then we define teacher here, teach, that what he done, he basically teaches. Print I teach student. Okay, so T equals to teacher T equals to teacher, and T dot introduce and T dot teach. So let's look over here, that I am a person, that what does, how he introduce, he just say I am a person, and how does he teach, and what does he do, he teach student. Okay guys, so this is what inheritance does. Create a by class with start method. Okay, start method. So we just have to make a method called start. This is it. Okay, I guess it's so easy. Let's move to another question. Create a bank account and private a balance. Okay, let's do this. Class bank ACC. Okay, we create a bank account. Now define a constructor in it, and over there what we want salary. So self dot balance, we just want one, we don't basically go there. So let's say I have 10,000 as my balance, but I want to hide it. So what will I do? We just add 2 underscore over here. Now it get hide. Define another function dot show balance self. Print balance is self dot underscore balance. Now A equals to bank ACC and A dot show equals to bank balance. Now look, we have our bank balance, but if I just say to show me balance, it won't. Okay, now we have animal class and override sound in cat. Okay, so this is basically an inheritance what we have done in the what we can say in the topmost question of the inheritance. So I think we should have to skip this. Create a rectangle class and calculate that area. Okay, let's do this. So class rectangle, define a constructor of length, width and self dot length. For area we want these two things, and self dot width. Okay, now define area. area of self. So how does we calculate basically self area, I mean. So area, let's take area is self dot length multiplied by self dot width. Okay, this is how we calculate the area. Now R equals to rectangle 10 comma 5. Okay, calculate the area. So area, so wait, yeah, now the area will be 50 as we know. Okay, just wait a minute guys. Create a mobile class with brand. I think this is easy for you, you can do that. This is also guys easy. Class, object and inheritance. Okay, so what is class? So class is a blueprint or a template which we use to create object. Then what is object? Object is a real instance of a class. Okay, and many objects can be created from one class. Then what is inheritance? Inheritance allow a child class to access all the function which we use in his parent class. Okay, so now let me tell you one more thing, that how we can take the input in it. Okay, because we have already, like I gave the 10 and 5, so how we take the input from the user. Okay, so now let's do this. Let's take a question of car sales. Okay, so let's make another class called car. Okay, then define in it our constructor. Then a car can have a brand and color. Okay, and self dot brand equals to brand, and self dot color equals to color. Then another define display to display the information of self brand what brand, using self dot brand, and our color self dot color. Okay guys, now we want that it should get a input. So what we done, we just use our input over here like this. Brand equals to input, enter cars, enter brand. Okay, and color equals to input, enter color. Now we just say that c1 dot car brand comma color, and then c1 dot display, that display the function of a c1 like this. c1 dot, where does it show this? Wait, let's run this. So wait, yeah, so now run this. Yeah, so enter brand. So brand will be, let's take Maruti, and color will be white. So C1 is not defined. Okay, wait, C1 dot, yeah, let's take uh, let's take Maruti as a brand again in the white. So we can say brand is Maruti and the color is white. So this is how we can take our input. If you want to number, you can use a for loop over there, like we use in a list and a dictionary. Okay. So this is all the way you can use this. Oops, and this is very important topic, guys. So I think you should have to practice all these and learn and revise it and do more question as much as you can. Okay. So today you have learned one of the most important Python topic. Okay, so almost every real project, okay, every real software use oops, whether you build a game, website or anything. Okay, so even in AI project or management system you will use classes and the objects. Okay, so practice today example multiple times, and once you are comfortable with oops, learning advanced Python and frameworks, okay, that will help you also with a oops. So in the next class we'll continue building on these concepts with more practical programs. Keep practicing and I'll see you in the next session, guys. And if you get any doubt over in this session or in this whole lecture, you can just comment me, so I'll try to figure it out and try to solve this. Okay, have a nice day, guys. Goodbye.